Hogwarts Legacy is full of places to visit and things to do, giving you the chance to dabble in most of what you know and love from the wizarding world of Harry Potter. Now you'll notice there I did say most and not all, and that's because Quidditch is mysteriously not part of the open world game and isn't seen at all within Hogwarts Legacy. It is only mentioned once at the beginning of the game, which we'll get onto soon, but other than that we never ever see Quidditch again in Hogwarts Legacy. And many people, including myself, see this as a massively missed opportunity. This could have been a great opportunity for even possibly a multiplayer. You could have had players going against each other in Quidditch, or even just as a mini game within the game that, you know, maybe could have been part of the story or had an impact on the story in some way, and also just been another side, a side activity for people to complete. And it's a bit disappointing that it is not part of the game. So in this video we'll be going over the real reason that Quidditch is not part of Hogwarts Legacy, and we'll be covering everything we know about that in this video. So let's waste no more time and let's get straight into it. The Hogwarts Legacy development team has never really clarified why there is no Quidditch in Hogwarts Legacy. All that has been officially said on the matter is in the official FAQ about the game, which does say that Quidditch is not playable in Hogwarts Legacy. Now the FAQ does actually expand by explaining that the broom flights for traversal and broom race challenges are part of the game, but why go through the effort of letting us fly on brooms but not let us play Quidditch, one of the most memorable aspects of the entire franchise. Now I do just want to say that I personally find the broom controls pretty poor within Hogwarts Legacy. I think the idea, at least on a controller, I haven't played it on keyboard and mouse, so I do find that on a controller it could probably be a little bit better. And I have seen some of you commenting on my videos, especially when I did the broom guide, that you found the controls pretty hard to use, and that they could have been made a lot easier, and I completely agree. I think the controls are, they were poorly designed in my opinion, but that's not to say that Quidditch shouldn't have been part of the game. You can partake in races and challenges, but why not Quidditch? Considering that Quidditch was actually part of Harry Potter, and this is a Harry Potter themed game, I think it would have really made sense to add Quidditch to the game. However, that doesn't completely rule it out, and we will get onto that later, but yeah, I do find it disappointing that it's not part of the game. I think even if it was just a single player mode where you played against AI, that would work well. It works well in the broom races and challenges. The broom races and challenges work well. I might find the controls aren't great, but that doesn't mean that I don't enjoy those, and I don't find those races good. Obviously, for some people, it might affect the enjoyment, but for me, once I got used to the controls, they weren't too bad. They're still not ideal, but yeah, I'm pretty used to them now, and it does make the races and the challenges good fun. And when you're on that Quidditch pitch about to start a challenge, I just look around and I just think, damn, it could be really cool to have some Quidditch here and just be able to play it. Or even if we could just see it, I think that'd be pretty cool as well. But unfortunately, it is not part of the game. Now, if I did have to guess the reason for this, the easy answer is that adding Quidditch to the already massive open world game is going to take a huge amount of extra work and time, and just something that the developers weren't able to put in. They had a release date they had to stick to, and they probably just weren't able to add Quidditch in, and it just would have taken too much time and too much of their budget. So yeah, not only would it meant that other aspects of the game might not have been quite as good, since the developers would have had to put more effort and time into Quidditch, it also means that development time would have taken longer, so it does mean that the game would have released at a later date on all platforms, to be honest. So obviously it is clear that developers probably thought that it wasn't a core part of the game and didn't really need to be there, since it would just take too long to make. And I'm not trying to say that this would be easy to implement at all. I think this would be a very challenging job. I think that Quidditch would be something pretty hard to implement, although we have seen it on some other games which we'll get onto, but it would be a pretty tough thing to implement into a game of this graphical capability. And with the engine that they have, it would have taken a very long time to implement, which would have made the game take longer to release, and maybe it would have mean it released at a time that wouldn't have made it as successful. It may have mean that it released at a time where there were more games releasing at the same time, which would have led to less sales for Hogwarts Legacy. We don't know, and we don't really know the main reason, but that would just be my guess, and I think it's a pretty logical guess as well. It just makes sense that obviously it's going to be something hard to implement, and something that probably it wasn't worth the time to implement from their opinion. But like I did mention earlier, the Quidditch pitch does still exist. It is still there in the game, and you can still go inside of it, but there is just other stuff inside of it. This is where you can partake in challenges and stuff like that, and it is just outside the Hogwarts castle, and there's a few time trial races that you can do on your broom within the Quidditch pitch in exchange for upgrades for your broom. I do actually cover all of that about the broom in the broom guide, and I'll link that that video in the description below and at the end of this video. But yeah, basically the Quidditch pitch is there, there's just no Quidditch. However, now that the game has been released though, there is actually the potential that a Quidditch mode could be added as a paid DLC. That's something that we could see happen. It obviously hasn't been confirmed in any way, and there's been no confirmation whether there will be DLCs or not for the game. If not, it could also be included in a sequel for the game. We don't know, this is just ideas. And of course though, it could well be that there will never be the addition of the Quidditch into Hogwarts Legacy. That's something we also don't know. We've really had no confirmation about this from the developers at all. But I would like to talk about the possible idea of there being a DLC for this. We have seen in some games, such as very popular games such as The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and Elden Ring is also getting a DLC, where DLCs have worked well. Some of them have been free, some of them haven't been, and I think even if this wasn't free, it would still do very, very well. And they've got reasons to, you know, not make it free. It's going to take a long time to make, so I think, you know, it'd be deserved for them to maybe put a price tag on it. I would be happy with paying for it, and I think a lot of people would be as well. It's normal for story games to get paid DLCs. We see it also with the Ghost of Tsushima. It's something that, you know, we could also see with this game, and I think that, you know, maybe that's a possibility, but like I said, there's been no confirmation whether this would or wouldn't happen. So yeah, to be able to see a future DLC where you are able to play Quidditch in the game would be really, really cool. However, there are many reasons that point towards this not being the case. One of the main reasons for this is the in-game reason for Quidditch not being available in the game. So in the actual context of the game, the headmaster explains to the students that after an unfortunate injury on the pitch in last spring's final has led to the staff cancelling this year's Quidditch season, and that is the in-game explanation for Quidditch not being available. And that reason alone, to be honest, to me, makes it seem like there wouldn't be a DLC. It's possible there would be, but it just sort of seems like, you know, if they're going to say that, then there's no real possibilities for there to be any sort of Quidditch at all in the game. And along with that, there's already time trials and challenges that take place on the Quidditch pitch, which is another reason for there to maybe not be an implementation of Quidditch into the game if there's already stuff taking place in that area. However, of course, I could be wrong, and I really do hope I'm wrong. I would love to see this in the game, as well as many other players, they would love to see it as well. But, you know, that is the main reasons that I think this probably wouldn't happen. But of course, I hope I'm wrong. So, as the last thing we do, I want to look at other games, other Harry Potter games, where we have actually seen Quidditch, and I'll list those now. We have already seen Quidditch in Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup. That's a bit of a given. That was on the PlayStation 2, and yeah, it was a pretty popular game, to be honest, and obviously that was all about Quidditch, and yeah, that was a game on the PlayStation 2, so obviously the graphics would be nowhere near as good, but of course it is all about Quidditch, which is pretty cool. We also see Quidditch in another 3 PlayStation 2 games, those being Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, and Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Those all have Quidditch within them as well, and those were available on PlayStation 2 and the Wii, I believe. And finally, Quidditch is also available in Lego Harry Potter Years 1 to 4 and 5 to 7. Something pretty cool there. That game's actually available on the newer consoles. You can play that on a PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and you can also play it on Nintendo Switch as well. Something really cool there. And you can actually play Quidditch in Lego Harry Potter. And if you have PlayStation Plus, I believe it's also free. So maybe something worth checking out. If you really wanted to play Quidditch, then maybe that's an option. Of course, it is Lego, so it's completely different. Nowhere near Hogwarts Legacy, of course, but you know, Quidditch is available in there, which I think is pretty cool. So those are the Harry Potter themed games in which Quidditch is available to play, and unfortunately Hogwarts Legacy isn't one of those. But there we go, that does just about wrap up things here, and that was the real reason that Hogwarts Legacy doesn't have Quidditch available to players. So yeah, that does just about wrap up things here. Now, like I mentioned, I have done a video doing a complete guide to the broom in Hogwarts Legacy, and if you're interested in watching that, then the link to that video is on the screen now, and you can go ahead and join me over there.